What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly Sports History for November 26, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the podcast. It is Tuesday. That means it's time for a little motivation / positivity. And I felt this one was very appropriate for Thanksgiving week. Comes from our old pal, Mark Manson, who I follow his daily newsletter. I think I mentioned before, he's the author of the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. But today's quote, "The opposite of misery isn't happiness, it's gratitude. Be grateful for your struggles because within them is the opportunity for growth and meaning." And I thought that was great this week because we're going to focus a lot this week and through the weekend and even through the holidays in December, talking about being grateful and expressing gratitude and just being grateful for what we have. And a lot of times that focuses really on the positives. This is what we have. This is what we have to be thankful for. But that also includes the bad and some of the negatives. I think a lot of those negative experiences and the bad things that happen, the struggles, they help shape who we are and help make your story. So you got to learn and grow from them as well. So be grateful for them. Use that as an opportunity to get better. Just overall, be grateful this Thanksgiving season for both the positive and the negatives, because even if you're down right now and things aren't going your way, use it as a stepping stone. Use them as learning experiences in order to get where you want to be. So I thought that was great. The opposite of misery isn't happiness, it's gratitude. Be grateful for your struggles because within them is the opportunity for growth and meaning. And as we go through the Thanksgiving week, just be grateful for everything and both the good and the bad, and use the bad as a way to learn and grow from them. Hopefully you can use that throughout your week. I really thought it put some things into perspective for me this week. So just be grateful, and that means for everything. And that has been our Tuesday motivation / positivity for today. Some quick housekeeping notes. Be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mont on Twitter and TikTok, at Philly Jimbo on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Continue to spread the word. And we're running out of time. We're closing in on the end of our gift card portion of our gift and food drive. Everything you need to donate is in the description. Every little bit helps, so don't feel that it's this, that, or the other. And if you are going to donate directly to the Maddie Ann Dixon Community Cupboard, be sure to mention us so they know where, excuse me, where you're coming from. But let's hope make some holiday magic happen. Donate to the gift card drive through this weekend, and then starting Sunday we'll do the reverse advent calendar. Be sure to check out On Pattison. We're featured in there once or twice a week. It's an online newsletter from the people that brought you Crossing Broad, so be sure to check that out. It's good partnership for us, and usually about once a week we'll be featured in there. Then go to Philly Goat. It's still not too early to start your Christmas shopping. They have the Green Sabbath Sunday Breakfast Blend Coffee, which makes a great gift. Pair it up with a Saquon Barkley t-shirt. All of that is available on their website. Just go to phillygoat.com. Be sure to use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. And I apologize. This cold is not getting any better. I usually don't drink water like that, but felt the tickle coming. And then be sure to check out my boys over at the Clashing Conferences, wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. Should be a very interesting NFC East podcast this week. All right, speaking of the NFC East, let's start with the Eagles. And recapping yesterday's question of the day, no real surprise there. 100% of you said Saquon Barkley was the GOAT. I don't think anybody would argue that. Excuse me. I think my second GOAT would have been Jalen Carter, just for the way he clogged up the middle and made the plays. But thank you, as always, for participating in the question of the day. There will be another one later in the show. All right, some final news and notes from the Rams game. Nick Sirianni. I've definitely done a full 180 on him and come back around. Just his speeches and what he says to the team. After the game, He said, a lot of people watch this game. Everybody's going to be calling you, telling you how effing good you are. We ain't done shit. Put your head down and go to work. It's the work that's got us here. And I think that's why I wasn't concerned with that being a letdown game. That's why he has them coming out ready. Could they do better in the first quarter? Absolutely. But overall, this team is focused and ready to go. Sorry, needed another sip of something there. But I think these players on this team will completely run through a wall for Nick Sirianni. And I think that's the biggest difference from last year to this year. They're not necessarily, I mean, the record was better at this point last year by a game, but I think just the focus of this team, they're avoiding what went wrong last year, and I think it starts right there at the top. So I know a lot of people still aren't fully sold on Nick Sirianni yet, but he does have them motivated, and he's keeping it in perspective. You ain't done shit yet. Keep your head down, continue to work, and I think that's the mindset of this team. And it kind of goes back to just everybody wondered what his job was. Right there, that's his job, to get this team motivated to play, to keep this team focused, and he's certainly done that through 11 games so far this year. I don't know, I didn't notice this, but A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley gave a little shout-out to Jarrett McCain after one of the touchdowns. They did his TikTok dance for celebration. Such a Philly thing. Pretty cool. Too bad the Sixers suck. A lot of talk about Saquon being the MVP this year. It's a quarterback league, and I think maybe we're seeing a shift in NFL focus where running backs will become more important. We went through a few years there where it was sort of just a plug and play. I don't know if he gets to 2,000 yards, maybe. Breaks the rushing record, maybe, but I just don't think it's not a bad bet to make. Excuse me. If you have a little bit of extra money. But I just don't see it happening, not in a quarterback-driven league. But kudos to Saquon, though, who made sure to shout out the offensive line and told them we broke Shady's team record for rushing. I thought that was pretty cool. He's such a good dude, such a good pickup. Cannot believe the Giants did not bring this dude back, although he'd probably be wasting away up there in New York. And then Jalen Carter. I watched some more highlights and clips of the game. And man, this dude gets held almost every play. So that makes what he's doing that much better. Like I said yesterday, bona fide stud. But man, he basically is getting held every single play and still has been as disruptive as he had. So the sky is the limit for Mr. Carter. All right. Brandon Graham is going to have surgery, he said, is going to be there on the sideline. Still non-committal on what he's going to do next year. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if he does come back for another year. And it's a shame because he had just moved past Clyde Simmons for third on the Eagles' all-time sack list. And he's going to be the leader on that sideline throughout the rest of the season, which is good. It's just such a shame if this is the way it ends. That's the way he goes out. So hopefully they can rally around him and really like come together and do the old win one for BG. I don't know. He's always been one of my favorites. But that leads us into what we're thankful for. And all this week leading up to Thanksgiving, excuse me, we're talking about what we're thankful for in Philly sports. And today, we're thankful for Brandon Graham. 15 years on the Eagles. He was the number 13 pick overall in 2013. Andy Reid actually drafted him. That's how long he's been here. Almost left after the 2014 season. Almost signed with the New York Giants. Has an up and down career. Really, in the beginning, a lot of people were down on him, but he stayed focused, stayed true, won us over. Probably the best move that Chip Kelly ever made was re-signing Brandon Graham after the 2014 season. Tried to move him to linebacker. Jim Schwartz came in, put him back as an edge rusher, and that's where he excelled. He's been an All-Pro. He's been a Pro Bowler. Obviously, probably best known for the strip sack of Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. One of my all-time favorite moments. I still vividly remember that's when I bent down on my knees and was hugging the dog, saying, "Oh my God, they're going to do it." But I think Brandon epitomizes what we stand for as Philly fans. He's a hard worker. He's honest, but he's got your back. And I think if you had to sum up, I apologize for the coffee. I cannot, especially during the Brandon Graham Thankful segment. But I think if you wanted to put into words what we look for in our players as Philly fans, I think Brandon Graham is what you would see as the picture in the dictionary definition. Works hard, wears his heart on his sleeves, going to be honest, whether he's honest about how we're being, whether he's honest about how he's being, playing, how the team's playing. But at the end of the day, you know he has your back, and that's why I'm thankful for Brandon Graham. And if this really is it for Brandon, thank you for all you've done. We'll never, ever forget the feeling of that strip sack in the Super Bowl, and we are thankful for you. Obviously, I'm a little bit more attached to Brandon than others because he went to Michigan, but that does not take away what he's done for the Eagles. So if this truly is the end of the line for Brandon Graham, Brandon, thank you for 15 great years. Thank you for the strip sack. And as Doug Peterson used to say, we ain't done yet. But that does get me thinking. Obviously Brandon Graham's a fan favorite. He's one of my all-time favorite Eagles players, just for the way he plays, the way he handles himself. And I'm not sure which way I'm going to go yet with this question of the day. I'll kind of figure it out here on the fly. But I think because of the iconic moment in the Super Bowl, probably going to get higher on the Eagles' all-time rankings than maybe some other guys. Kind of like the Nick Foles factor, where Nick Foles is not a top 5 Eagle of all time, but because of that moment, there are people that make that argument. So I think Brandon's probably one of the top 10 to 15 best Eagles ever on the defensive side of the ball. Does he crack the top 25 of the Eagles? And if you think about it, we're talking about Brandon Graham as one of the all-time greats. It's often easy to overlook how many great players this team has had. So my question to you, is Brandon Graham a top 25 Eagle of all time? I think he's right in there between the 20 and 25. But what do you think? 267-495-8531. That'll get you into the Back to the Future voice and text line. Is Brandon Graham a top 25 Eagle of all time? Do you think he cracks the top 15? You certainly could make the case for that too. But where does Brandon Graham rank on the all-time Eagles list? I don't think he's top 10, but I think you can make the case anywhere from 15 to 25. And that's not a slight or a knock against Brandon as much as it is just how many great players we've had in this franchise history. So let me know what you think on the Back to the Future voice and text line, 267-495-8531. That'll get you in. It's all about Brandon Graham today because we are thankful for Brandon Graham, all in honor of our gift and food drive benefiting the Matty Ann Dixon Community Cupboard. Donate through the link below, and let's make some holiday magic happen. And Brandon, if you're out there listening, would love to see you make a little donation and go blue. All right, Flyers. Tough one last night. Vegas is a good team. Vegas is a high-scoring team. Flyers jumped out early on them and then withstood the counterpunch. And I think that is my key takeaway. They lost 5-4 in a shootout last night, but I think we've seen them kind of falter in the second period a lot. They got back down. I think it was 2-0, then 2-1, and then I think it was 3-1, and then somehow it got to 4-4. But either way, the Flyers kept battling back, and I think that, to me, again, this is a rebuild. It's a young team. The fact that they kept battling back, I think, is great. I was watching some of this game, and they looked. It was fun. Watching the Flyers was fun again. But Vegas was a good team. The fact that they went toe-to-toe with them, especially the way the Flyers have had those lapses with, as I've been calling them, the Little League periods, and they held it together and didn't come out with the win, but stood toe-to-toe with them. I think it's a good step in the right direction for them. Mishkov had a goal, which was just ridiculous. Caught a rebound and just sniped it right past the goalie. He leads all rookies in goals and points. As I've been saying, the future is bright for the Flyers. There's still time to jump on the bandwagon. Jump on Mishkov Mania. But good win for them. They're in Nashville tomorrow night, looking to kind of keep some of the momentum they built rolling. And then the Sixers. Who knows what's going to play? They'll have the media availability today. We'll find out, I guess, tomorrow night. They play the Rockets, taking the kids down. Pretty cool through my wife's work. We get to go down on the court and watch them warm up. Will we see Joe warm up? Will we see Paul George warm up? Who knows? It's for the children. It's for the children. But I do got to say, we were watching, I think I mentioned this. We were watching the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving and opening scene. Boom, there I am. Going to go down tomorrow, get sucked in because everybody's going to play, and they're going to play well against the Rockets, and I'm going to be right back on board. But we'll have more on who's in, who's out for the Sixers tomorrow. All right, today, we're going to go back to 2000. And on this day in 2000, the Eagles beat the Washington 23-20 to clinch their first winning season since 1996. And this was the game that McNabb put his name into the MVP conversation for the 2000 season. You might remember this game well. He went 19 for 30, 137 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Also ran the ball 11 times for 125 yards and a touchdown, including that amazing hurdle over a Washington defender, and then that infamous juke move where he's running down the sideline, jukes, and goes. That was when I think we all realized, okay, this team is going to be good. This team is going to be special. Donovan was the guy. I think this was sort of his coming out party. The Eagles would go on to win 2 of their last 3 to finish the season 11-5. They would beat the Buccaneers in the wild card round before losing to the Giants that year in the divisional round. Giants ended up going to the Super Bowl that year. But this season, the play of McNabb, the playoff win versus Tampa Bay, this is the reason I got season tickets. I knew number 5 was going to be special, especially after this Washington game. I kind of started to believe in Andy Reid and believe that he had something special brewing, knew the new stadium was coming. And for the first time in years, the Eagles were actually fun again to watch. But on this day, McNabb sort of had his coming out party against the Washington team, 23-20. Eagles not only clinched their first winning season since 1996, Donovan put himself into the playoff or the MVP conversation with 2 of the most dynamic runs of his career, the hurdle, the juke. You can go back and watch the clips on YouTube and realize that we had something special brewing. But that all happened on this day in 2000. We'll have more on the Sixers and who's in, who's out tomorrow. Brandon Graham, we're thankful for you. But tell me, where does Brandon Graham rank on the all-time Eagles list? Is he top 25, top 20? Let me know in the Back to the Future voice and text line 267-495-8531. Let's do a little Brandon Graham appreciation today. We'll have more on the Eagles as they gear up for that big game this weekend in Baltimore. I kind of am glad that Baltimore won that game because it would have had a different mindset coming in having lost 2 in a row. So the fact that they won, I think, bodes well for the Eagles as well. They're coming off the Eagles will have the extra day of rest, but we'll start looking ahead to that game tomorrow. Be sure to donate to the Gift and Food Drive. Like I said, every little bit helps, even $5. So whatever you got and whatever you can, go ahead. Please donate and help our friends and neighbors at the Maddie and Dixon Community Cupboard in Ambler. And remember, the opposite of misery isn't happiness, it's gratitude. Be grateful for your struggles because within them is the opportunity for growth and meaning. And as we go through Thanksgiving week, be grateful for the good and the bad because all of that helps shape your story and get you to where we are. Use them all as learning experience to just be a better person. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for November 26, 2024. My name is Jim Montgomery. I apologize for the coughing and the water breaks in between. I cannot shake this cold. I told you, I get sick and I never get fully sick. Right, all through November, I'm always sick. So I do apologize for that. But go have yourselves a Tuesday. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.